Feels like a phantom.
Formula One was excited as it was the second day of the first week of pre-season testing, and we saw the most action we have all week long. Hello everybody and welcome to the day 2 report for week 2 of pre-season testing. Everything exploded today. So many red flags, so many stoppages, a few spins as well for the teams that we thought were going to be reliable this week. But still, it's just beginning to get there. The teams are beginning to push to see exactly what their new cars are made of. Let's start off then by having a quick look around the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So let's take a look then around this 4.655 kilometre circuit. A lap record of a 118.441 set last year by Danny Ricciardo. Open up the DRS, pull late gear and start the lap down the hill to a long turn one of the longest runs down to the first corner of the season. Brake hard down 4th gear, tight right, tight left, full opposite lock and then a long sweep of turn 3 to complete the first sector. Rise up to 5th gear, pull 6th, 7th, 8th, brake, cross the first sector time all the way down 3rd gear, ride uphill now before the short drop downhill towards turn 5, heavy braking down to 2nd gear, hug the apex hard, drift the car wide on the AstroTurf and run downhill into turn 7 and 8 chicane, almost drop down 4th gear, clip the apex and rise uphill once more. The fast turn 9, 6th gear, lift a little, let the car rolling on the half banking and now open up the DRS and go hard all the way down towards the heavy brake of turn 10 into the MotoGP section that Formula 1 uses as well. 2nd gear, get this part of the course wrong, the car want to flick out like that, you've got to save it. It's a constant challenge. Uphill, wants to push you out wide, let it. Use the excess camber to drag you into turn 13 and then the chicane of 14 and 15. Ride the curbs, just clip, and then across around the final corner, turn 16, open up the DRS, go to the line, and that is a lap of the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So let's take a look then at the morning session of day 2 of week 2 of pre-season testing. And, well, proceedings got off to a slow start with rain overnight affecting how the teams ran the first hour and a half of action. A couple of red flags as well stopped proceedings, but everybody went out on the intermediate tyre for what could be the only real wet running they get in this pre-season, you see. Say wet running quite clearly, and you just can't. The drivers as well couldn't drive in the wet, a lot of them skating around, especially Esteban Ocon in the Renault who went out on the track first. But it was Sebastian Vettel who, despite spinning down at turn 5 and ended up in the gravel trap backwards, managed to get it out, get it back to the pits, and he ended the morning session fastest on a 1:16.841. Lance Stroll surprised everyone. He was second fastest, 1:17.188. He did that though on the C3 tyre compound, so put that on the C5s and we could be seeing something very interesting in the Racing Point later on in the year. Moving forward as well, McLaren's Lando Norris, 4th fastest as well, 7/10 off the pace. Best lap coming on the C2 tyre compound. We can't really tell anything for the times in testing, but it is very much a expectance to see. You can sort of work out where the teams are going to be overall. A couple of spins down at turn 5. Valtteri Bottas was the first. Coming down the hill into turn 5, dry tyre, wet track on the curb, just kicked up the water and spun the car around into the gravel trap backwards. He was able to get it back out though. Just a few moments later, Max Verstappen did it, but span up the rear tyres and that was it, game over. He was stuck in the gravel trap, causing the red flag. Sebastian Vettel, as I said, would later go on to do that as well. But it was an interesting session as well, if you were Sebastian Vettel, because after that failure last week with the engine, it's sort of like, are we competitive? Are we not competitive? It's very hard for what Ferrari are planning, because this headline today with Vettel topping the morning session and the afternoon session later on, it's a bit of in the midst of, it's not really accurate to see where the teams are going to go with that one as well. But that was half of the running. The full action was really in the afternoon. Let's take a quick look though at the times from the morning session. So Sebastian Vettel was fastest on a 1:16.841. Lance Stroll was second on a 1:17.118. Nicholas Latifi in third place, a 1:17.313. Lando Norris in fourth on a 1:17.573. Max Verstappen is fifth on 1:17.738. Valtteri Bottas in sixth on a 1:17.985. Esteban Ocon is seventh on 1:18.013. Kevin Magnussen in 8th place on 1:18.225, Antonio Giovinazzi in 9th on a 1:19.670, and Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10 a 1:22.566. So the afternoon session was really where everything kicked off, especially if your name's Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes. Now, only just 14 laps completed for Lewis Hamilton. The power unit shut down at turn 5. Now, we're going to show you on screen now exactly what happened to Hamilton. So coming out of the turn 4 hairpin, downhill towards turn 5, watch, he drops down for the braking zone into third gear, gets back on the power, but the power immediately cuts out. He's stuck in third gear, the rear brakes start to lock on, and as you can see, the throttle just begins to get stuck at about 50 kph. The car grinds to a halt downhill, and then the brakes lock on. Hamilton stops the car automatically as well, and then he's ground to a halt. Now, the reason for that is that what Mercedes say was an oil issue, and then the power unit detected that issue and shut off the engine automatically. They say it should not be a problem going forward for tomorrow, and Mercedes, what we understand, are going to change the power unit, but just for a precaution going into the final day of running. But still, we still believe they're on the first power unit that they used, but then again, we've heard Williams, they've had issues with the power unit all throughout this test. We've seen them stopping with Latifi, so really it's just a little bit of cat and mouse with them. Moving on as well, Sebastian Vettel still set the fastest time for the morning session. He was right up there. Pierre Gasly stuck on the C5 tyre compounds later on in the session. He went for a glory run with about 10 minutes to go. He went up from 13th all the way up into second place. That dropped Hamilton down, of course, into last place. Not often we see the Mercedes at the back. Lance Stroll, again, impressive in that racing point. But, of course, there wasn't really many delays on this last day, on this last session of the day, because everyone was just so keen on getting the race runs in. Yes, everyone did try to do 308 kilometres, which is the standard race distance, and nearly every team got it in, bar Mercedes. They never got a clean race run in because Lewis Hamilton stopped out on the track. Haas as well are having some issues. They lost a couple of days of running, don't forget, throughout this test. They still are not up to speed as well. And of course, tomorrow, the Drive to Survive programme on Netflix, the F1 documentary reviewing last year, drops, and everyone is looking forward to seeing what Gunther Steiner's got to say about last season on the programme. And let me tell you something, even Haas getting into the games as well by putting a picture of one of their mechanics in one of the drain hole covers on the pit wall to look back at the team. So everyone getting into the fun and spirit of testing. It's all light-hearted, but still there's some serious issues going down at Haas, on Renault, and even throw that in with the Mercedes. Is their power unit reliable? But the big news of the day, well, Ferrari finally topped the session. It's not the fastest time of the test, but still, if I was Sebastian Vettel, I would be pretty worried about what that car could actually do. Is it as competitive as Red Bull and Mercedes? McLaren are looking good as well, with Racing Point and even Williams looking strong. We're beginning now to finally see the pecking order. The final day tomorrow should provide us with more. Let's take a look at the times, though, from day 2's afternoon session. So Sebastian Vettel ended up top from his time from this morning's session, a 1:16.841. Pierre Gasly slotted into second place on 1:17.066, Lance Stroll third on 1:17.118, Nicholas Latifi fourth on 1:17.313, Lando Norris in fifth on 1:17.573, Max Verstappen is sixth on a 1:17.738, Valtteri Bottas seventh on a 1:17.985, Esteban Ocon is in eighth place on a 1:18.013, Kevin Magnussen 9th at 1:18.225. Alexander Albon rounds out the top 10 at 1:18.393. Then we get Danny Ricciardo in 11th on a 1:18.395. Antonio Giovinazzi in 12th on a 1:19.670. And Lewis Hamilton only completing 14 laps due to the power unit issue. He's in 13th last on a 1:22.425. So we are all back tomorrow. Yes, me, Megan and Dad will all be back tomorrow for the final day of pre-season testing for 2020. And of course, 2 weeks' time, yep, we're all going off to Melbourne. That's when the F1 goes off. We'll stay in our UK studio and provide all the analysis. Yeah, some people got it. But we've actually got a member of the family over there. So that's going to be fun. I'll have local knowledge on site as well. But it's going to be fun. The season is just around the corner as well. Don't forget, we're also going to be doing MotoGP this year on a form of a Monday wrap-up show. So stay tuned for that as well, along with the British Touring Car Championship. It's all looking good though. Ferrari getting their act together. Mercedes looking strong, but weaknesses in the armour. Red Bull though are looking exciting. It's all beginning to come together. The final day of pre-season testing is tomorrow, and what is going to happen? Join us to find out. Good night.